What it do, YouTube? Dre Cole back in the building once again. I'm doing a video today on my top 8 cartoons when I was a kid. Okay, okay. Now, mind you, I'm a 45-year-old man, so 45, born in the early 1980s. You do the math. I ain't gonna tell you what year, but you do the math. All right, 2026. I'm 45. Do the math. Anyway, these is my list of my favorite cartoons when I was a child. All right, here we go. First of all, hold on. Number one right there. That's number one. Let me tell y'all something, man. As a child, I had the toys. I watched every episode. This was my jam right here as a child. This show was so good. My parents watched it with me. They liked it, the show. My mom and dad watched the show with me. You see what I'm saying? I was the only child for 14 years. My brother didn't come until I was 14. I was in high school. But anyway, that subject for another day. Anyway, I had the toys. It was like I remember my first birthday, my first real birthday cake. I think I was maybe 4 or 5, something like that. He had a big thing. Well, back then they did back then you couldn't put an actual picture on the cake like you can now. Back then they just had I don't know, a stencil or whatever what they did, but a picture. I mean, just an icing was Optimus Prime, and man, you couldn't tell me nothing. When I got saw that cake, man, my mom got a picture of that cake somewhere. It might be in storage or something now. I don't know. But man, that was my show. All right. Number two. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Who didn't want that sword as a kid, bro? Hey yo, what kid in the coming up in the I say late 70s, early 80s did not scream that as a child? Come on, man. And who didn't want that sword as a child? Man, I remember one time we went in the store called Fred's. I think it was a national company. It was Fred's all over the place back then. This was before Walmart really just. It was a department store. You know what I'm saying? That sold a little bit of everything, kind of like Walmart. But see, Walmart wasn't around here yet. I don't think. I don't think it was. But anyway, it wasn't the national power that it is now. So, man, I went in Fred's with my mama one day, man, and I saw that motherfucking Sword of Omens, bruh. My eyes got big as shit. I said, Mom, I'll never forget this. Mom, can I get the sword, please? Please, I need to get the sword. Boy, I ain't buying you no damn sword. You know how your parents is. You know how your parents be, man. I was so disappointed, bruh. I was so disappointed. I ain't lying, I was so disappointed I couldn't get that sword. And anything, I don't care what it was as a child, anything that even resembled was a sword, or you know those wooden things. Then it's shaped like this at the end. It's wood, but it's cut about about that about that thick, and it got like a little pointy end like that. Man, every time if I saw something like that, because at the time my grandma was building her house, right? And if I saw one of them laying around, now this is me as a what 5, 6 year old now. I used to pick it up and pretend it was the sword of omens, man. I used to go thunder, 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 thundercats. Oh man, bruh. Hey yo, I even had the Thundercats lunchbox as a kid. I just got rid of it when I moved from my old neighborhood. I had just got rid of it. I mean, the picture of the turd. Whew, I'm tired because, like I said, I came from the gym earlier, so I'm kind of tired. So that's why I'm yawning, trying not to, but I'm. It is what it is, man. I had to get rid of it because the picture was turning, was fading out because that's a 40-something-year-old lunchbox, man. So the picture, it was one of them plastic lunchboxes. I didn't know I still had that mother. Well, anyway, man, I saw that lunchbox when I was moving out my mom. At the time, I was living at my mom's house. Man, of course now I got my own shit now, but yeah, when I saw that lunchbox, I sat there and stared at that lunchbox for like 10 minutes. Seemed like, and all kind of memories from the. I remember carrying this lunchbox to school when I was a child, man. I'm like, man, that's why I say, man, if you didn't grow up in the '80s, bro, you missed it. That's what I tell a lot of younger people, man. You missed it, man. All right, number three of my favorite cartoons growing up in the '80s slash early, I say slash early '90s. Cause by the time the mid to late '90s, hell, I was a teenager. I wasn't watching cartoons no more like that. But this is number three. Hey yo, man. We all know, we all know that this show was based off the movie. But what I didn't understand about the show, well, the cartoon, but like I said, it was based off the 1984 live action movie, right? But they said they couldn't use the likeness of the real people, right? So what they did was, and I like how they did this. They call it the real Ghostbusters for two reasons. The movie was based off the cartoon characters, right? That's why they're called the real Ghostbusters. Okay, so the movie was based in what they trying to say. The movie was based off the cartoon, but the movie came out first. So that's why they call themselves the real Ghostbusters, because Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and them was pretending to be them. You see what I'm saying? And another reason why it was called the real Ghostbusters, because it was another cartoon that came out in 1986. I think a week before the real Ghostbusters came out. It was just called Ghostbusters. And I used to wonder as a kid, why they got two shows called Ghostbusters? You know what I'm saying? But see, the Filmation's version of Ghostbusters was based off the '70s TV show, that was called The Ghostbusters. It was corny as hell. And this cartoon was just as corny. It was stupid. Didn't nobody like it. That's why it didn't last that long. So it was to call it the real Ghostbusters was a shot at Filmation, even though they owned the rights to the name Ghostbusters, right? Because they came out with Ghostbusters first. So uh, Columbia Pictures, which pretty much at the time, I guess you want to say owned the real Ghostbusters franchise because they made the movie. What they did was they paid Filmation to use the name Ghostbusters for the movie. So when they came out with the cartoon, they were like, "Well, hell, we gonna use the name anyway, but call it the real Ghostbusters." I said that's smart right there, and that show stayed on for what about 7 years, 6, 7 years, man. And but they lost me when they rebranded and called it Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters because it got corny and because they tried to make Slimer as like I mean yeah the kids and Slimer just got on my nerves to be honest. I didn't really care for Slimer like that. He was irritating, but he was trying to make it like he was their mascot or pet or something. You know what I'm saying? And it got corny because they were trying to put the show around him, and it ain't about Slimer. We don't care about Slimer. We care about the Ghostbusters themselves. And but when they rebranded it to Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters, it was like the hell. I don't care about Slimer like that. But anyway, but Ghostbusters was my show, man. My mom was a fan of Ghostbusters and stuff. She used to watch it when we used to sit there and watch it as when we were kids. My dad and he wasn't into a whole lot of cartoons like that. Only cartoons he would probably watch is he'll probably watch Transformers because he was an Optimus Prime fan. He would watch like if it was something like he came up on like the Incredible Hulk or Spider Man or Superman. Oh, he was a big Superman fan, so he'll probably watch something like that. But that's about it. But Ghostbusters, I never had. My parents would not buy me Ghostbusters toy because they thought because let's be honest, a lot of that stuff they had on Ghostbusters was disgusting. Let's be honest with the slime and the ecto this and ecto that. My parents was not finna buy me this stuff as a kid. Cause I sure asked for it, but she was like, nah, we ain't buying this. We can watch the cartoon, but we ain't buying the toys. It was like, nah, we ain't doing that. All right. All right, y'all. We going to number 4. We going to number 4. So, yo, believe it or not, this cartoon is still going on to this day. They done redid it numerous times. I don't know why. I mean, between Transformers and this, what you about to hear right now, they done redid both cartoons so many times over the years because they still making money off of it to this day. But man, let me tell you something. After Transformers went off the air, this was as a kid, this was everybody's jam right here. After Transformers got canceled and all that, we were like, dang, where we gonna go next? Shoot, here we go. Hey, the Transformer went off there, baby. Shh. When this came out, cause they came, Transformer went off in '87. Next thing you know, later on that year, we was like, oh my god, we found our Transformers replacements. We done found our Transformers replacement. And I'm gonna be honest, watching Ninja Turtles as a kid got me into martial arts, man. I wanted to go to martial arts school so bad, but for some reason my dad would not let me. For some reason, He talking about you ain't disciplined enough. I'm like, why the shit you think I'm gonna get it? And to this day, I regret not going to martial arts school. You know, because of Ninja Turtles, I want to learn martial arts, man. Straight up, straight up. I had the toys. I ain't gonna lie, I had Ninja Turtle toys. My mom was a fan of the Ninja Turtles. Also, she used to watch it with me and all that. My mama's 63 years old right now. But at the time, she was what in her early 20s, I want to say. And I was a child, and man, I watched every episode. I didn't miss Ninja Turtles, man. And it was just yo, that was it, man. Ninja Turtles was our. We got over Transformers real quick when Ninja Turtles came, and we were like, oh, "What is this? What is this, bro?" So we got over Ninja Turtles real quick. Shoot, we got over Ninja Turtles real. I mean, we got over Transformers real fast. Cause like I said, Transformers went off the air in '87. Ninja Turtles came out later on that year in '87. Of course, we didn't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, it just showed up on TV, and we like, oh my God, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So hey, but yo, we going to number four. Hold on, is it number four? No, number five. Number five. Oh yeah, baby. X Men. Who wasn't a fan of X Men growing up, man? Come on, man. Telling you, X Men was like for my generation, we were like X Men was deep for us. This was like deep television. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because they got into some deep topics. Cause you know X Men was about you know being accepted like mutants and humans living together, and us as black people we could relate because somewhat, you know what I'm saying? Because we dealt with racism, you know what I'm saying? So, and we dealt with racism, so we could relate to X Men somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Being prejudiced or or looked down on because of the color of our skin. They was looked down because they wasn't normal people. You know what I'm saying? They had special power. They were mutants or whatever. So us as black people, hell, we can relate to X Men. And it was a lot of people, a lot of black folks was X Men fans, bro, growing up. Cause I know me and my homeboy, we didn't come outside till X Men went off. I'm telling you, 'cause we were watching X Men. Bottom line, we were watching X Men, bro. Here we go with number six on the list of the best. My list of my favorite cartoons from the '80s and the early '90s. So here go number six. You know, I had to put it on the list, man, because let's be honest. Now we had Spider Man in the '80s. It was Spider Man and his amazing friends. That was man. But this right here, nigga, this Spider Man right here, nigga, was the best Spider Man cartoon I have ever watched. It was, oh man, it was just good animation, good story. It was like watching a comic book come to life. You know what I'm saying? It's watching a comic book not come to life, but come on TV. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, it was great. It was, it was great TV. I'm just gonna put it that way. Cause I'm gonna tell you, man, back in the back, I say the early '90s, man. What was it? Fox Kids. Fox Kids, man, these niggas had Power Rangers. These niggas had Batman the animated series, Spider Man, X Men. Man, they was doing their thing in the early '90s. Man, Fox Kids was doing their thing, bro. It was hard for NBC, ABC, CBS. It was hard for them to mess with Fox, man, cause Fox had all the good stuff, man. So yeah, but Spider Man was my jam, man. That was one of my jams into the coming into the '90s. And see, by this time I'm like in middle school, so I'm not watching as much cartoons as I did, let's say 5 years ago at that point, because now I'm growing up and I'm getting into, well, I was already into basketball 'cause I got into basketball in the '80s. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at girls. I'm getting into, you really getting into girls and all kind of other stuff like that there. So it's like you ain't really watching cartoons like that. It's only maybe at this time I'm watching X Men and Spider Man, and that's really about it. So yeah. So what the list looking like now? Okay, we down to number 7. Yeah, we at number 7 now. So I couldn't put a list like this and not put this on here because I remember as a child getting ready to go to school, and this was on TV every time I get ready to walk out. Well, it'll be going off as I'm walking out the door. So this was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and every time I think about it, you know, it was just one of my all-time favorites, man. All day, baby. All day, baby. Hey, I was a G.I. Joe fan. I never had none of the toys. I never had none of the toys. But bruh, I was a G.I. Joe fan. I was just a fan of the cartoon. I didn't really care about the toys like that. Like a lot of people did. I didn't know anybody that had G.I. Joe toys like that. But for one thing, they were this damn tall. They were about this big, as far as the height. And I'm like, can't play nothing. Man, I ain't trying to waste my time playing with nothing that small. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, that. You know what I'm saying? So, but the cartoon was the shiznit. I ain't gonna hold you. It really was. I mean, I know the same people that made Transformers made G.I. Joe. Actually, G.I. Joe came out first. It came out what, a year before? No, I think hey, GI Joe actually came out, I think 82, 82 or 83, one of the two. Transformers came out in '84, so GI Joe came out first, and then Transformers came out. So you had a lot of the voice actors working on both shows, and both shows were huge in the '80s. I mean, GI Joe and Transformers. You couldn't go in a store like a department store that sold toys or whatever, you couldn't go in the store back in the '80s and not see GI Joe and Transformers somewhere in there. That's how big both of those cartoons were. So yeah, That's my number 7 favorite cartoon as a kid. All right, YouTube. This is the last one. Now this is the one I was a fan of, and my dad was a fan of. I said it. I said the name earlier. If you was paying attention, but man, now they had one in the '90s, and I just couldn't get with that one. But this one right here, to me, this was the real version of said character, and this is number 8. Mm, 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 mm. Incredible Hulk, baby. Yeah, man. Incredible Hulk, man. Hey, to me, that theme song fit him perfectly because it's dominant. It's is that boom, 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 boom. Ah, you be like, yeah, nigga, it's about to go down, bro. Yeah. But yeah, when that dude, it's like every time he transformed, Bruce Banner turned into the Hulk. That's like the favorite part of the whole show. I mean, the show be good, but you can't wait for him to Hulk out. You know what I'm saying? That's the part you be waiting for, man. It's bad. Like I said, my dad was a huge fan of the Incredible Hulk. He, like I said, I think he was more. I think he became a fan because of the TV show that came on in the '70s that bled over into the '80s with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno playing, Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk. I think he was a big fan of that show, so he was just a fan of that character, so to speak. But see, my dad, he was a short guy. My dad was like 5'2", and he liked its strength. He loved power. You know what I'm saying? Like characters that were strong, like the Incredible Hulk, or man, you say Spider Man, or Superman. Like I said, Superman was his favorite character. Oh my god, he used to love Superman. But see, my dad loved characters that were strong and were powerful. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was in love with the Hulk. He was in love with saying Spider Man, but Superman and that stuff, man. So anytime I was wanted to watch the Incredible Hulk, the cartoon on Saturday morning. He was like, "Okay, let's watch it." And man, I remember the time we used to play when I was a kid, and he used to play with me. He used to pretend he was the Incredible Hulk, and he'll come in my room and Hulk smash my bed and pick me up, slam me on the bed. You know, yeah, man. It was a trip. I miss my dad. He died back in '06, so at 50 years old, man, and he died young. I was what, 24, 25. So I miss him to this day. You just don't know. But yeah, that's my 8 favorite cartoons of the '80s slash early '90s. That's my list. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna start doing more of these. I think the next one I'm gonna do is my favorite TV show, like live action TV shows of the '80s, and I say early '90s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe early '90s or just '90s in general. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, like, share, subscribe. I'm Dre Cole, and I'm out. Peace.